the comments from the current NSA and sometimes the Minister of Finance about the kind of economy they met, how the previous government under which you served spent printed funds, and they thought they couldn't even see what it was attached to.
Well, that was
the economy is big deal.
That was a misapplication by the then central bank governor, who out of corrupt...
I would blaming it on the CBN governor, who the buck stopped at the president's table at the time.
Let me tell you, I mean, there were...
Who was taking directive from?
There were a lot of manipulations. And we even hear that a lot of the so-called approvers did not really emanate from President Buhari. There were a lot of manipulations. There were a lot of, fraudulent approvers which didn't emanate from the president.
Mr. Shittu, do you really want Nigerians to believe that something like this? We heard Mr. Wale Edun make this complaint very clearly. They were printing money. Is it you're trying to convince Nigerian people right now that these things were happening and the president had no idea?
I am telling you confidently that a lot of it didn't get to the attention.
That in itself is a very big problem. The idea that something like that could happen.
I agree. There were a lot of people around the president who really exploited their, relationship with the president to take advantage and, conspire with the then Senate, with the then
it
governor.
It doesn't exonerate the then president from blame,
because
he would also have to answer for being used, if that's what your assertion is.
I agree with you, but we must also say the truth, the details of what we came to know. And I hope that the EFCC will really, probe properly and, in details as to how these things happen without Mr. President knowing about them. I agree it's a failure. I mean, I can't be a president somewhere, and such things would happen, by people around me, and I would not know, and I would just, overlook it. It won't happen.
But I know you know the implications, because those persons who you're mentioning were appointed by the man who we elected.
I completely agree.
So the appointee, he is the one.
Completely agree. I mean, it's a failure. I mean, on the part of even the person.
Did you know these things were happening when you were minister?
I didn't. I couldn't have known, because I had only one mandate, and it was about communications, not about finance.
When the promises were being made, right? When the Buhari administration was making all those promises,
yes,
did you, in good faith, believe that he could deliver on these
I did in good faith, but it turned out that a lot of things happened. Even as an individual who had a mandate to oversee communication, there were a number of projects which I initiated, but which were frustrated along the line.
Such as?
For instance, I wanted to do an ICT university for Nigeria. And I made the proposal, and it got to the Federal Executive Council only for a number of our colleagues to oppose it. And at the end of the day, Mr. President said, Barrister Shittu, I want to commend you for your hard work on this memo, but this is an overambitious project. That was my saddest day in government. But things like that happen. You are an appointee of the
So that's one. The ICT university was rejected. What else?
Other things, I don't think we need to go into all of this. I don't want to start opening old wounds. But these are things which happen, and I was not happy, but at the end of the day, when the Federal Executive Council, as a body, rejects a proposal, you cannot...
Did you regret serving in that time?
I didn't regret. Of course, I was able to do a number of other very good things. So I couldn't have rejected. I have regretted.
So when you're listening to the promises now from the Tinubu administration...
Well, you see, Tinubu is a different person from Buhari.
Is it deliverable? You know what was left... You know what was on ground.
I want to believe so, because you see,
do you think he can?
In fairness, we have been in this country for the past 30, 40, 50 years. In Tinubu's period as governor, he was not the only governor in Nigeria. How many of his colleagues can you remember today that served in one state or the other? He distinguished himself. I recall that before he came on board, during the military administration, the Bar Beach in Lagos was threatening to consume the whole of Victoria Island. And I also recall that the then Minister of Works, the late Abdul Karim Adisa, was spending more than 3 billion, yearly to pump, sand on the bar beach, only for the bar beach to come and carry it again. But then Tinubu came and he succeeded not only in taming the bar beach. Today, Victoria Island is a confident, place anybody can stay.
How does this affect the price of tomatoes in the markets?
Well, is life only about the cost of tomatoes in the market?
For many people, yes. How they're able to feed has come under question
are
recently.
you saying that those are not relevant achievements?
We didn't say they're not relevant achievements.
We have to admit.
But the bar beach, with all due respect, Nigeria is a lot bigger than that bar beach.
Look,
and we're looking at the lives of Nigerians.
We are talking of achievements of somebody for which we can rate him and say, if this Mr. A has been able to do 1, 2, 3, then he being as a president of Nigeria today, he must be able to, achieve much more for Nigeria. Yeah, and I want to believe.
The campaigns are over.
I'm not campaigning now. I am
look at the promises. Several.
We need to be patient.
How long?
By the time he's celebrating his first year, I want to believe that he will have a lot to tell Nigeria.
By the time it's this month.
He has got, reached as of today, and where he's going to take Nigeria through.
Are you impressed with what you've seen so far? The impact the economy is having on the average Nigerian as we speak. Are you?
The truth is, we are all going through hard times, including me. I always admit, because I don't work for government, I don't earn anything. I'm as common as any other Nigerian. And we go through this, going through the same market and all of that. But I have learned to be patient, because in reconstructing any edifice, you need time, you need patience, you need organizational ability and all of that. And I want to believe that in another 2, 3 months, Nigeria would be better than it is today.
So what makes you say so? Because you've looked at cost of goods, the rising inflation, it's double digits. He says they're going to bring it down, but these figures keep going south.
Nigerians, we are Nigerians, we know ourselves. The man who cultivates yam in the farm, is it the cost of cultivation of that yam that makes him to now double or triple the cost of it? When you talk of Nigerian factor includes the greed in us as Nigerians. It includes the compromises in us as Nigerians. It includes so many other factors. A lot of everything cannot be, put on the head of.
Are we blaming it on Nigerians now for electing the president?
We are all guilty of it. Government and people. We are all Nigerians.
When you were a minister,
yes.
The government of former President Muhammadu Buhari rode on this lovely white horse called anti-corruption. And the change begins with me. Everyone, let's tighten up. We have to stop corruption. Then 8 years after, we're now hearing all kinds of crazy stories from people who were a part of that government.
It's unfortunate. Maybe the anti-corruption, the anti-corruption thing was not strong enough. 2, 3, 4 people will definitely act differently if put in the same position. We must admit that is, part of our humanity. So I regret everything that has become an inadequacy in the Buhari government. But I am saying that we now have a different, person on board now, and having regard to his antecedents as a governor in Nigeria's most sophisticated state, we must hope and continue to pray that God will assist.
But Mr. Shittu, this was the same story the APC told us when Buhari was campaigning.
We stopped telling stories.
No, they told us Buhari had antecedents.
Yeah.
He's done this and that and this and that.
Yes, you see,
and actually, sir, you've seen the results afterwards, some of which you regret right now.
What Buhari has, which most people don't have, or which most people don't, understand, is Buhari as one individual is the most incorruptible human being I have ever met. This is somebody who had been a pensioner in the military. When he came in as president, he was entitled to be taking salaries also. But he said, no, I cannot be taking 2 incomes from the same government. I will suspend my pension from the military and retain only my salary as president. both were legitimate to him, but out of his utmost good faith, he decided that he would not be taken.
I mean, that's
not
beautiful.
Many people
but how many
that.
people was in his administration was he able to infect with this great honesty?
But I am telling you,
because
we
keep doing, I hear a lot of people from the past administration do this all the time. Oh, he wasn't the only person in government. He had cabinet, he had governors. So these lovely virtues, why didn't he trickle all the way down?
Limitation of Muhammadu Buhari. I'm not saying that is the ideal, but for once, I am telling you that he as a person, that is what he is. But the fact that he didn't have capacity to infect others with this, goodness is a limitation, which is human, and we must admit that that is how God created him.